Hey guys, welcome to math class from quarantine. All I can say is you guys got your wish. You get to do school without your uniforms. So, congratulations. This has been a very difficult way of teaching, but we're doing the best that we can, and I hope you guys are staying on track and keeping up with watching your videos and doing your math work and checking your math work. Make sure if there's something you still don't understand after we've gone through the lesson and the practice set, or after you've gone through the homework and checking your homework, if there's something you still don't get, please send me an email. Leave me a phone number where I can call you. I've already called several students who have asked questions, and that's worked out okay. You got to let me know, though, okay? Missed you guys. But thankfully, number one, God is in control of the whole situation. Number two, we're all in this together. This is going to give us time to really focus on the things at home that are very important, focus on our relationships with our friends and family, focus on our relationship with God. Okay? Okay, let's look at the bright side. Today's lesson, lesson 93, we are talking about quadratic equations. Okay? So make sure you get your notebooks out. You need to get this definition in your notebooks. Quadratic equations are equations containing a variable with an exponent of 2, but no exponents in the equation that are greater than 2. Okay? So if we have an exponent of 2, we're dealing with a quadratic equation. Okay? Every quadratic equation has up to 2 real solutions. It may only have one real solution. And then later on, you guys will work out problems where there's not really a real number solution, okay? But there's going to be no more than 2 solutions, okay? Up to 2 real solutions. So let's look at our first example that they give us in the book. They give us the example x squared equals 25, okay? We don't know what x is, but they're saying some number, when we multiply it times itself, will give us 25, okay? So typically when we think about this, we think about square rooting both sides, which works, right? I would get 5. But I also have to consider that negative 5 times itself will also give me 25. So the solution to x squared equals 25 is positive 5 or negative 5. So we would say x is equal to plus or minus 5, okay? So the way we go about this, guys, is when we square root both sides, what we're really saying is so I'm going to write x squared equals 25. To get our solution, we would say plus or minus the square root, plus or minus the square root, okay? Because it could be the positive root or it could be the negative root. In most cases, in some cases, if we're talking about distances, like on a square, if we know the area of the square and we want to find the length of the sides, it's not going to be a negative number, right? So in that case, we would just have the positive root, okay? Okay. So these, I know Mrs. Dern's silly, but I think these are kind of fun, okay? 3x squared equals 12. Okay, so let's think about what we would do to find out what x could be. Well, the first thing is to divide both sides by 3. X squared equals 4. Now, we've done this before, I want x, not x squared, so I'm going to square root both sides, okay? But think about it, I need the positive and the negative root, so x is equal to positive or negative 2, plus or minus 2. Positive 2 squared is 4, negative 2 squared is 4, okay? This one, x squared plus 5 equals 13. I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides, so x squared equals 8. Now I got to root them. So I'm going to root this side. I want the positive or negative square root. Root this side, positive or negative square root. So I could say x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 8. Uh-oh, that's not simplified all the way though, right? Because 8 is also 4 times 2. 4 is a perfect square, so the root can come out. So the answer is plus or minus 2 radical 2. So we have to think about what we know about simplifying square roots along with learning about quadratic equations, okay? Okay. Now, one of the nice things is what we know about solving proportions, we can add into our learning about quadratics. Okay? So in proportions, I know that I can cross multiply. X times x gives me x squared. 9 times 16 gives me 144. X squared is equal to 144. That means I need to square root both sides, and I'm going to have the positive and negative square roots. So x is equal to plus or minus 12. Okay, because if I replace 12 here, 12 over 9 is the same ratio as 16 is to 12. Or it could be negative 12. Negative 12 over 9 is the same ratio as 16 over negative 12. Okay? But think about a situation like this. If I have 100 tiles and I'm going to form them into a square, how long is each side? Well, I know it's a square. They've given me the area is 100. That means each side has to be 10. Now, am I going to use the negative root of 100 as well? No, because squares don't have negative lengths. So I'm only going to use the positive root of 100 on this one. Okay? Okay, go ahead and stop the video. Work on your practice set. On page 626, go ahead and do A through G in the practice set. When you get done, start the video back and we will go over A through G. Okay, A, 2x squared minus 3 equals 29. My first step, add 3 to both sides. 2x squared equals 32. Now I want to get x by itself. Well, I've got to get x squared by itself first. Divide by 2 on both sides. X squared is equal to 16. So now I want to get the root. So I'm going to square root. Square root. So x is equal to positive or negative 4. Plus or minus 4 would be our answer here. And the way to check yourself, guys, is put positive 4 back in here. Positive 4 squared is 16. Times 2 is 32. Minus 3 is 29. Negative 4 squared is 16. Same thing. Okay? You can check yourself. B, 5x squared plus 6 equals 16. First step, subtract 6 on both sides. So 5x squared is equal to 10. Next step, divide by 5 on both sides. X squared equals 2. Next step, I got to square root both sides. So x is equal to plus or minus radical 2. Next, set negative 7x squared plus 8 equals negative 13. I'm going to subtract 8 on both sides. Negative x squared, 7x squared equals negative 21. Divide by negative 7 on both sides. X squared is equal to 3. Square root both sides. X is equal to plus or minus radical 3. Next one, 8 equals 4w squared minus 24. I want to move my negative 24. So you combine my 8 and negative 24. So I add 24 on both sides. 32 is equal to 4w squared. Divide by 4 on both sides. 8 is equal to w squared. So when I square root, I get w is equal to plus or minus square root of 8. But again, 8 can be simplified. I'm going to break 8 down into 4 times 2. My root of 4 comes out. Plus or minus 2 radical 2. Okay, E, we've got a proportion. So I'm going to do x times x is x squared. 4 times 9 is 36. X squared is equal to 36. Square root both sides. X is equal to plus or minus 6. F, another proportion. X squared is equal to 12. I'm going to root both sides. X is equal to plus or minus square root 12. Square root 12 can be simplified. 12 becomes 4 times 3. So the root of 4 comes out. The answer is plus or minus 2 radical 3. Last one. It says we have 121 square tiles that we're going to arrange into a big square. So they ask how long is each side. Basically, when they give us this 121 square tiles, it's telling us the area. Okay? So 121 is the area. That means 11 times 11 gives us 121. I'm only going to use the positive root because I don't use negative lengths when I measure squares. Okay? Okay? Hope you guys understand this. Equations with exponents are kind of cool. Let me know. Send me an email if you have any trouble. Otherwise, you can get on to your work for today. Hope you guys have a great day. Miss you all. Bye.